so short, but we got to keep it under some sort of time limit so we can post this so all of our intrigued viewers can watch. As I was saying, Jonathan Jenkins, the monstrosity of a man. He looks like he's 500 pounds. He's ginormous. Just gobbles up running backs like it's his job. I think he'll find a home in Indianapolis. They need a interior lineman. I think he's the next Pat Williams, which, of course, being a Vikings fan, I'm a big Pat Williams guy. So I think this is where he'll go, if not higher. Him and Jonathan Hankins might do a flip-flop. Another defensive tackle coming off the board to Seattle. They have that great defense, just kind of bolstered a little bit. Kawan Short, the defensive tackle from Purdue. Dude's a pass rusher. He's going to get after the quarterback in the interior, which will be something nice to have. Of course, they have that outside pass rush. So to pick up the inside pass rush would be nice. So Kawan Short out of Purdue, the only Purdue player you'll probably ever see go in the first round from now on.
Forever.
I think Drew Brees and Kyle Orton were probably the only two ever that were. Curtis Painter, don't forget about him.
They weren't first-round picks, though. But they just got drafted.
They got drafted. This doesn't happen very often. Green Bay, just ridiculous team. I hate them to death.
So do I. They suck.
But their only real weakness is, they have some holes on the defense, but is that offensive line. I think they'll bolster a lot with a guy who can play all 5 offensive line positions, Barrett Jones. I also would not be surprised to see him go a little bit higher due to his versatility. He's a dog. And with that Bama line, it's just ridiculous. So I think he'll find a nice home in St. Louis. Green Bay. Sorry. Switched them up. Green Bay. Moving on to the next pick, 27. They were miserable down the stretch.
Yeah, they were.
But the Houston Texans, I think personally, I don't like their safeties. I don't know if they do. I can't really find any other major hole except for the middle linebacker position.
Cushing's back, though.
He's
middle, right?
Yeah. No. And which, they don't really – it's all the good ones are gone, so they can address it later on. I think they'll take Eric Reed, the safety from LSU. Ball hawk, great safety. You'll see Matt Elam go later on. I think they could flip-flop. They're about equal talent. So whichever one you like better, you can't go wrong either way. Moving on, Denver, of course. I don't know who their number 2 corner is. Is it Tracy Porter? I don't even know.
Yeah. Champ Bailey's at the end of his. He's
Champ Bailey's
probably got one more year.
Just boiling down to the end. So I think they'll go corner here. Desmond Trufant, possibly an Xavier Rhodes. They're the 2 best corners left on the board. Trufant, of course, he's got his brother plays for. Still play for Seattle?
I don't believe so.
I don't know.
I don't even know he's on
his brother used to play for Seattle. Marcus Trufant, good corners. He's gonna be a solid corner, I believe, in the NFL. So I think this is where he'll go. Maybe Xavier Rhodes, another good corner coming out of Florida State. Moving on to probably the second worst team in the NFL, the New England Patriots.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Depending on how it goes leading up to the draft, they might have to take a wide receiver here because, basically all they have is Wes Welker. So if he's gone,
Gronk's too busy partying and making a fool out of himself somewhere.
And Aaron Hernandez, he looks like a thug. He might go to. I think he'll be in jail. I don't know.
Faking an injury, doing something.
Really,
Brady's probably getting his nails polished again.
Deion Branch was good in 05, okay, but he's past his prime. All right, so really they might need a wide receiver. We'll see how it goes. But if Welker comes back, which we'll see, I think they'll look to create a solid edge rush. They got Chandler Jones already. Ninkovich is kind of, whatever. He's out there. He makes some plays. But I think they'll go Alex Okafor, the other youngster, defensive end outside linebacker. He'll run the 3-4 outside linebacker out of Texas. Pass rushing machine. I think this would make sense for them. If, like I said, if they don't have to take wide receiver. Moving down the line, pick number 30, the Atlanta Falcons. Really, their only weakness is at defensive end as well.
John Abraham's
older than dirt, and Ray Edwards is extremely overpaid.
Mm-hmm.
So Ray Edwards has that contract to thank to Jared Allen, so he should send him a letter or some flowers. But I think they'll take Sam Montgomery, defensive end, LSU. Of course, we talked about Mingo. He's the guy on the other side. The bigger guy, still a dominant pass rusher. I think he'll be extremely good in the NFL. There's a lot of good pass rushers in this class. 31.
Defensive class for sure.
Oh, yeah. 31. I think this is where we'll see another wide receiver come off the board. DeAndre Hopkins, like I mentioned earlier, I think he's the sleeper in the draft. He could rise up just a ton of spots. Very fast guy. Depends on how he works out and on where he'll go coming out of Clemson. And the final pick, Baltimore, the Super Bowl champions. They could use a linebacker as well. I could see him maybe reaching for an Arthur Brown, who would be the next best, or a Shane Scov, possibly. Those are the next two best linebackers available. Maybe throw John Bostic in there as well. And
Elam's a physical safety too.
But they're gonna I think they'll pick Bostic's teammate, Matt Elam. It's up in the air on whether Ed Reed's gonna come back. If not, he's old. Bernard Pollard's old. They could use some safeties. Matt Elam,
physical, like
great safety.
Ed Reed and Pollard.
And I think this is where he'll go.
Good in coverage too, so I think he'll be a pretty solid pick.
I think he'll be a pretty solid NFL player.
Yeah.
Of course, this is all could change. We'll probably end up with another mock draft later on. So hope you enjoyed this show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll probably be back tomorrow. I'm not going to promise anything.
Yeah, we will be. It's National Signing Day. It's my specialty.
National Signing Day.
That's right.
You're probably going to get to see Andy Ramirez do something since my back's starting to hurt. But like I said, thank you for tuning in. One more look at the miserable Cody Snodcrest before we leave.
Yeah, he's a childhood poster boy for obesity. So.
So like I said, feel free to watch his show if you need some laughs or you've had a bad day. And see you tomorrow.